This is Beetle and Cricket, and it's their birthday, so I'm gonna sew to celebrate. The first project is making inserts for the shower caddy I found at the dollar store. It was like $5-ish, not too bad. To make the pattern, I took apart the shower caddy, and then I just traced around one of the bases. Super simple, nothing crazy there. To preface, I'm not trying to make these things couture quality. I'm just trying to go for speed here. The little vermin are gonna destroy them soon anyway, so just speed and ease are the goals. Fun fact, rats didn't actually cause the plague that we think of. You know, when we're taught in school that they caused the Black Death, it was actually humans and human-to-human transmission. So for centuries, rats have been blamed for something they're not even responsible for. Here I'm just making sure my pattern fits and that everything will work out when it's done. I have two fabrics I'll be making this out of, a dark green fabric and then a light green checkered fabric. I laid my dark green fabric out first, it's folded in half, and then I laid my checkered fabric on top of that, so they're lined up. So at the end there'll be 4 layers of fabric that I'll be cutting. I laid my pattern on top, added magic seam allowance. I just kind of eyeballed it. I didn't really care. It's just, it's whatever. I'm gonna cut through all that, and then I'll have 4 pieces of fabric in that rectangular shape. I'm gonna lay my fabric out so they're right sides together, one checkered to one dark green fabric. I didn't pin anything, I'm just kind of winging it, sewing around the edges and leaving a little gap to flip around so it's right sides out. Doing the steps again with thread this time, and flipping inside out and top stitching to make it pretty. While I sew, let me regale you with the tale of how I acquired my little rodents. Basically, someone bought their mom a snake food, snake didn't eat her, she gave birth, and then Beetle and Cricket were born. And then I got them from a rescue that picked them up. Rats are really smart. In studies, they've taught them to drive cars, and they enjoy it, which is kind of crazy. But my guys must have missed the memo because they're a little dumb. Beetle can spin in a circle, and Cricket refuses to learn any trick, ever. While my rats might be dumb, they still need a lot of enrichment to keep them entertained and their brains active. So I make a ton of stuff for them and hide a bunch of food around their cage. So this is just part of kinda my routine for keeping them happy and healthy. There is another study called Deep Squeak that records rat sounds and catalogs them to kind of know what they're saying almost. And I think that's a beautiful thing that exists in this world where rats are so hated. At this point, I realized I messed up. I forgot to add the tabs. The tabs are basically so that when I put them in the shower caddy, the rats can't drag them all over the cage. It's basically just to secure them. Otherwise, they'll be all over the place. So I'm starting again, taking my dark green fabric, and then here's the tab. It's just a piece of bias tape folded, really weird. If I did it again, I'd just do 2 loops, but I had run out of bias tape, so this is how I made it work. Basically, I'm going to sandwich this between my 2 pieces of fabric, and then I'm going to zigzag stitch the ends to make little loops like you just saw, and that's basically how I'm going to attach it with these little bird clips I have. Sewing the right way this time, around the edge, leaving a gap, and then making sure to catch those little tabs so they stick out when I flip it right sides out. I'm gonna clip all my corners so they turn nicely, flip it inside out, top stitch around the edge, and then do those zigzag stitches to make the tabs. Here's a little sketch of how the tabs are done, just folded over and zigzag stitched. And now, project 2. Same deal as the first project. We're gonna lay our fleece fabric so it's layered into 4. This time around, we're going to be making a little rat hammock that they really love, and I believe you can use these for ferrets and other small animals too. I'm going to pretend to measure. It didn't really come out very square, but you just want to cut a basic square. So I think mine was like 12 inches or something. It doesn't really matter, it's just whatever size you want it to be. I had run out of bias tape, so I'm gonna make my own little loops using this quilting cotton that I had laying around from an old project, and I'm gonna cut a 2-inch strip. For this first part, it's basically going to be how I messed up on the first one. We're going to sew 1 dark green fabric to 1 light green fabric, right sides together, leaving a little gap, and we're going to not put tabs on it this time. So it's just going to be just a square, just really nice and simple, and then we're going to flip inside out and then top stitch. It's just a tube, so I'm just folding it in half and then sewing all the way down. Now I'm going to use a safety pin to turn it inside out, just putting the safety pin in and then putting it inside itself. I really struggled with this, so maybe make your tube a little bigger than I made mine. This is the flipping and top stitching, so I'm going to flip it inside out, top stitch all the way around the edge to close it up, and at the end of this step you should just have a square made out of the 2 different fabrics. So now we're going to take our remaining 2 pieces of fabric and we're going to have our checks right side up, and we're going to lay our finished square so the checks are touching the other checks, and we're going to have it at this angle so that our points of our square are at the middle edge of our unfinished square. And then we're going to put our other fabric on top, right sides down, so that we have this sort of sandwich. And then I'm going to pin it all together. So this is where we add our loops. I cut that big piece into 4 pieces, and then I'm going to unpin those corner pins, stick the loop in so it's facing inwards at that diagonal angle, and then I'm going to re-pin it up. So around the edge, leaving a gap to flip. And the last thing you have to do is close up that opening that we used to flip. So just a top stitch right along there. And this hammock is completely reversible, so you can have each color showing depending on your cage layout.